Hey guys, this is a video on my fish tank TV. A few of my friends have told me to make videos about it, so I'm going to right now. And so I'm going to tell you how I did it, what you'll need, and why I did it basically. So we'll start off what you need. Well, first you need the TV. You know, I found this on the side of the street, it said free because it was broken. And I made sure it was broken. I didn't want to turn it into this if it was working. And so I brought it here, and I grabbed my wire cutters, and I cut every single wire that was inside. And so after that, there's the screen, the TV screen, or it's called the tube. You have here is the outline of the tube. On the other side, there's little screws that hold it in. And there was a bunch of them, and you have to just undo that, pull it out. This whole frame comes out, and that's how you pull it out. And you got to make sure not to crack and not to do anything, because mine actually did crack, and it got me really sick. Luckily, I wasn't hurt or anything. I just got sick. So that's what you need to do. I left this stuff on it. This, the on button pulls in and out. There's little buttons here. These I just glued on, They don't move, but there's little kids that come here and they like to press these buttons, and I just find it pretty cool. There's the speaker here, and I left it open just because I like to look through, but you can just put like a little cardboard piece or something and you won't have to see anything. Oh, and for the lid, this one was also screwed on under, but some of them are glued on, and you just have to take a chisel and chisel at it, but the screws were easy, and then it just came right off. And all I did, I put hinges right here and right here, and so it just lifts up. So oh, this is a 29-gallon tank. You have to measure the inside. Sometimes they fit like an actual 30, or they sell 32 gallons, I know, stuff like that. Measure it. This one is the 29 with the tiny bit of wiggle room. And I do get asked a lot. This is not real wood. This is plastic painted to look like wood. So people are like, "Oh, how does it handle the water weight?" Underneath, I stacked a bunch of 2x4s because the sides are just fine. I stacked it in the middle so that the weight is equal. So it's not going to cave in the middle. It's not going to cave in one of the sides. The weight is completely equal. And yeah, so. For the light and the filtration, of course, with the filter, you have to do an internal filter. I have this one. These are just PetSmart filters. I don't use the normal filter media. I make my own. I have a video on that if you wanted to see that, but I have this one, and there's that one. And they work just fine. I just don't use the stuff that they come with. And so that's the filtration. And they both have biological. This one has mechanical, this one has mechanical, and this one has carbon in it, just so that the water's a little bit more clear. So let's open up the lid. Now, the tank that I bought came with everything. It came with the heater, it came with the filter. I moved the filter to a different tank, obviously. And so I just kept the cap on, or the lid, just because the evaporation will mess with the wood. And just to be sure, I lined it with duct tape so that it wouldn't actually touch the wood. It does right here, but this is not as big of a problem as it would be right here, so I'm not really complaining. You can always spray paint it, you can put a weatherproofer, but the duct tape for me just works the best, just because it doesn't touch the wood at all. And then for the light, I get asked a lot. It was a standard light that the strip fluorescent light. And the fluorescents actually, for me, work better than LEDs for the plants. You see, it gets dimmer when you lift it up, obviously. But yeah, so I did that. All I did was I took the encasing, and where the button is, there's a little security lock. And where these tombstones are, which is actually what they're called, for where they plug in, just had screws. I undid those, and it came out just like this perfectly. This is the main power source really for this whole light. So I covered it just so that water doesn't touch it. you know, it covers the wires a little bit, but I'm not so worried about the wires. And so, you know, I can always just turn it, pull it out, put a new one in. It's simple. And you see, I can reach this filter. I have to actually open this to get into the other one. I'm actually going to feed him right now, too. I feed brine shrimp, if anyone wants to know. You fill it with water, you let it defrost, and then you just pour it in. And so this really helps a lot. You know, it keeps my water level consistent so that it doesn't escape a lot. I'll show you the little button. So the button that turns it on and off is back here, because that's where we put it, and obviously turns it off, turns it back on. And so literally I didn't have to build anything for this tank. I just took apart some stuff and put in some stuff. And you can see that the tank does go from side to side. I could push it this way more, but this side is the side that you can't see from the front. So I'd like to see as much as I can. And so that's basically pretty much it. Let's talk about the tank, actually. So when I made this tank, I knew I wanted to do like some kind of aquascape. And most of my, well, this is actually my most successful aquarium. I had algae just for like a split second. Literally, it lasted like a week and then it was gone. So I have Anubias in here. I have Amazon swords. I have an extreme amount of jungle val. I only had 3 pieces in here, and I think there's 8 now. I also have Sagittaria, not dwarf sag. It's the actual Sagittaria that grows to like the top of the tank. And there's 3 right now, and I started off with 1. This is Hygrophila angustifolia, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong if you know what it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. There's Flame Sword that's not doing so hot. I think I'm just going to take it out, feed it to some goldfish or something. My goldfish actually do eat swords, which is really surprising. And I'm talking about common goldfish, my pond, obviously. I have Crypt Spiralis, which is also not doing very hot. It's been melting for a while. So I hope it comes back. And that's pretty much it. I do know I'm going to add a lot. I'm a huge fan of crypts. I want to just lace this area with crypts that just grow to the top of the tank, like Balance or something. And then I do want to do something over here. I have 2 different dirts for a big reason. This is fluoride red, and this is, I don't remember. And I did that for a specific reason. I did want to put a lot of the same plants on both sides, especially the jungle val. I wanted to see which dirt did better for another tank that I might set up or something. And so far they're both doing really well. This works a lot better for the Amazon sword, but this works a lot better for the Hygrophila. And the jungle val grows a little bit slower on this side, and faster on this side, but I like the color on this side more than this side. So that's, you know, a preferation. And then the Aquascape. When I was making this, I was like, I'm going to make Pride Rock from The Lion King. That's what this is supposed to symbolize. You know, and I just stuck some plants in there. The rubber band is supposed to just make the plant grow onto it. And it's going to come off on its own. I can see that it's already deteriorating. I don't know if it'll focus. You can see it a tiny bit. It's just going to deteriorate, and it's not going to do any harm to the tank. But it'll stay there once it's gone, the plant. And I'm thinking about harvesting some of that. I don't know. But along with the Pride Rock, I was like, I'm a huge fan of landscaping, you know, like in the front of your house or whatever. And dry riverbeds have always been my favorite thing ever. And I had a lot of this extra gravel. So I was like, I'm going to make a dry riverbed. And obviously it has the depth kind of feel to it where it starts off really big and then gets tinier. And that was to symbolize the jungle val. And this is in my living room, so this like totally brings the whole living room together. It's a short tank, but everyone who comes to my house comes and looks at this. And I have colorful fish. I have Serpe tetras, I have platies, I have I think one molly. And I do want to fill it with like sword tails. Obviously I have one. I do have some of the fish that I used to breed. The other ones I gave out, and I kept one. Yeah, I kept one. But I want to put some gourami in here, and maybe like a bristlenose pleco just for fun. But this tank is my most successful tank. It gets a tiny bit of sunlight, but it had no algae. The plants do so great. The fluorescents have like done really well for me. The dirts, if you want me to recommend you something, this one gets extremely dirty. Like, doesn't matter how long you have it in your tank, you put a plant in there and it clouds the whole tank. This one not so much, it goes away after a while, but this one is absolutely horrific. But this one does make your plants grow a little bit faster, if that's what you want. I prefer the color over the speed. Like the hygrophila, I know it's a hygrophila. This one's a little bit paler green, and that doesn't mean that it's dying or anything, because it's still growing. This one's a darker green. I like this color, you know, I feel like it really pops out and is really cool. And this one matches this side. So it was a fun process doing this. If you want tips, if you want to build one or something, just let me know. And I hope this video like taught you something, you know, whatever. Alright, see you guys later.